Now, since I've chosen the ninjutsu stance, let's take a look at what these things do, so that everybody can be familiar with what I've got going on. First, we've got Dead End, we've got Cataclysm, and we've got Downfall. So let's go over Cataclysm real quick. You've got a melee ability that can be put in the head slot only. It deals 4 head damage, and if it's successful, I get a knock-up, which, remember, that means I can discard up to 6 points of basic offense cards from my hand and decide if it goes to the head or body. So this could potentially be 10 head damage if you can't do anything about it. And then I get, and if successful, I gain priority for the next attack. So I have to actually be successful with this hit in order to gain priority. Now let's go to Downfall. Downfall is melee again, can be only placed in the body. However, it has this added bonus ability to do 1 head damage, and it deals 4 body damage. So it can split its damage, which is pretty cool. And then if successful, if I actually deal the damage, I get to make my enemy discard a card from their hand, which can be very nice to have that little bit extra, almost pseudo body damage. Then if we do the Dead End, this is a melee ability that can be placed in head or body. It deals 2 head damage and 2 body damage, and if successful, it knocks them back. Now that knockback's a little dangerous because this whole setup here is all melee, so if he's got any ranged abilities, it might be really strong for him. However, if he's got a set of melee abilities that I want to try to avoid, or think that I might be able to get, to reduce some of my damage or something like that, his damage to me, then I will go ahead and want to use the Dead End, especially since it splits the damage. And to supplement that, what we have, especially if we knock back, we look at Scorpion's abilities, and other than his X-Ray, which is definitely ranged, but everyone's X-Ray is going to be ranged and unblockable, basically unstoppable. But besides the X-Ray, which is his From Hell move, we've got Teleport and Spear, which are both ranged abilities. So it takes a jump and a back punch, and it takes a back punch and a back punch. So back punches are going to be particularly useful for me while using this stance here, because these guys are all melee. While Takedown is also a melee move, it does count as a crouch, which means that even if I don't hit him, at least having a crouch on the field is pretty nice if he's going for my head damage. This also does 6 body damage, and if successful, gives me priority. So I have a lot of priority ability in this setup here, which could be pretty nice. And I only have 1 access to stun meter, whereas the stance I played last game, which was Hellfire, gave me a lot of stun meter ability. Which was pretty nice. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. I do have another way to potentially stun a meter on my Takedown. But again, melee distance, and it has to be successful. Both of these are only if successful. So that's about it for my guy. Then we're going to go over to Sub-Zero, and we're going to check out what he's got. Now, Sub-Zero only rocks 2 stances, or 2 different moves per stance, because they're quite powerful, but he also gets more of them. So if we look at first, we'll look at Frost Hammer. Frost Hammer is a melee move, can only be put in the head slot, and it deals 4 head damage. That's pretty substantial when you're starting out with only 15 health. Then, if it's successful, I have to discard a card. The enemy will discard a card, which is very powerful. Only the condition, though, is that it has to be successful. Now, the interesting part about this is it gives him the ability to have 1 extra card in hand, and that's an unconditional. It's just he gets to just go ahead and take a free card, which is very powerful because of this enhance ability. So if he has a combat token and he wants to enhance it, he can. And the enhance will say, if successful, gain a knock-up. So a knock-up, again, is you may discard cards from your hand, basic offense cards from your hand, in order to try to deal extra damage. So not only can you deal 4 head damage, but he could successfully, if successful, he could also deal another 6 head damage, which could also be 10 head damage. So we're kind of matched up on that move right there. But again, he has to commit to it with an enhance. Then we go over to Air Frost Hammer. Air Frost Hammer is, first of all, it counts as a jump if you don't have priority of this attack, which means he can change the distance token, whether we are in melee or ranged. I know this doesn't say that it's ranged, but it's not, technically. It's a melee move. However, because of the fact that it can count as a jump if he doesn't have priority, means that he excuse me, it means that he could run up to me or jump to me, essentially. It is 3 head damage, which is pretty damn good, and then it has to be placed in the head slot. It also, if successful, I discard a card, so it's very similar to Frosthammer. And then he's got this ability here, if successful, draw a card. So what he's doing is basically he's switching out the absolute draw card for the and the knockup for a potential of having a jump. And jump is one of the most powerful cards in the game. So because of that, I think that this is actually a fairly balanced card compared to the Frosthammer. Both of them are great options for him. And just so you know the amount, he's got 4 Frosthammer and he's got 3 Air Frosthammer. I'm sorry, 4. He's got 5 Frosthammer and 4 Air Frosthammer, a total of 9 in his deck of 50. So then we'll look here. His Deep Freeze, which is his X-Ray, which is incredibly powerful, also ranged and unstoppable. But then we go, let's see, these both are not ranged, which is good. It seems like a pretty good pairing, except that he's also got 2 ranged abilities in his base ability kit right here. So you've got Crouch Front Kick, which is his slide, which will definitely get him close to me, and it only counts as a crouch if he doesn't have priority, so it's a conditional crouch. And then Ice Ball over here, this is pretty damn good. It's very cheap for back punch, and it's deal 5 body damage at range, which is pretty great. So if we look at this, first of all, back punch and back punch is the same thing that I have for my ranged ability over here, which is my spear. And so that is, we're both using back punches there, and we're both even there. So now if we go to slide, his is Crouch Front Kick. Crouch Front Kick is a total cost of 3 for the crouch and 3 for the front kick, which makes it a 6 cost card, essentially, if we're counting the cost of the basic moves and how good that those moves are. So he gets another ranged attack for 6. My other ranged attack is actually going to be jump and back punch. Jumps are 5, back punches are 2, so that comes out to 7. So it costs 1 more, but I do have the ability to have it be a jump as opposed to his being a crouch. So I do have a leg up maybe in my abilities. We'll see how this goes. Alright, so let's get this started. The next step that we're going to do, now that we've picked our characters and we've picked our stances, we're going to take this stance deck and we're going to put it right into this 40-card pre-made quick start deck. We're going to turn that over and just shuffle that a few times because we're about to get into a brawl. I'm going to take my 4 abilities and I'm going to actually drag them down a little bit. Let's make sure that I can see them if I go all the way down. Yep, I figured they were going to be a little too low. Let's move them up just a tad bit. There you go, everyone can see that now. And I'm going to line up my card with that here just so that it's real easy. We have way more room to play with. We're going to take our deck here and we're going to put it right here next to... let's leave some room for our discard pile there. Actually, you know what? Let's leave some more room for our permanent discard pile that's going to go next to that too. So we're going to start... Oh, sorry, let's bring our HP tokens up here as well. So we'll move this back a little bit. HP token. So these guys right here, normally when you're drafting, you get 60 cards. You get around 60 cards, 55 to 60. But since we're doing a quick start deck, we're only starting with 40. In order to balance out the health, we're actually going to go ahead and make our health down to 15. So we're starting with a little bit less health, but we're also starting with a little bit less endurance as well. So approximately 5 equals 10 in a weird way. Sort of. It's all pretty balanced as far as that goes. Now we're going to go ahead and take our tokens over here, and we're going to put them in position here. Now, Element Fire, how would you feel about going off of our last game that we had? Would you like this to make game 2 of 3? Or do you want to start fresh? We can start fresh if you want.
Well, because I remember you ended the last game on a special which gave you Brutality.
Exactly. So if we read Brutality over here on the character card, if an ability or a stance moves deals the final blow to your enemy, next fight you gain this ability. This ability is begin your next fight with a full meter of 3 combat tokens so that I can have access to all my combat tokens. So do you think it's unfair since that was your first time? We could make a new fresh start if you want.
Honestly, like, as much as I'm an advocate for being fair, I'm also an advocate for seeing how this plays out in a correct
Okay.
Best 2 out of 3 scenario kind of thing.
All right, so I'm actually going to get to start my game with 3 combat tokens because I pulled off a brutality at the end of the last game that we played. Now, what those give me access to, I can spend 1 to enhance a card. You can see down here some of the moves can be enhanced. My abilities can be enhanced, whereas my stance cards generally don't have enhance on it. Whereas for him, his abilities and his stance cards mostly have enhance on it. It's just kind of a play style for each of the characters. Now, I have the ability to also spend 2 to break a combo. So if he tries to throw out some sort of a combo, including a knock-up, I can combo break that bad boy. I can spend 2 of my tokens to just go ahead and say, nope, I'm not taking a combo from you this round, or this attack phase. And then if I happen to draw my X-Ray, which would require 3 combat tokens, one of the cards in here, each one of your stances comes with a single X-Ray card. So out of these 50 cards, I have 1 X-Ray card in there. I'm going to just shuffle just for good measure one more time. I just pulled that card to the top. If I get that in my first round, it'll be pretty epic because I do get to start with all 3 of my tokens. Now my X-Ray, it will cost 3 in order to perform it. Now let's go ahead and look at my X-Ray. It's a gap closer, where if we are at ranged, it will change it to melee. And then it deals 5 body damage, 6 head damage, and it roots the enemy so that he cannot change the token by moving his body, but he can change it by knocking me back still. Can't prevent any of this damage, so this is an incredibly powerful card. It's basically just 5 damage and 6 head damage. You can't be stopped, and then I'll get to root you as well. So it's pretty powerful. Let's take a look at his, just in case he gets to play his this round. We have deal 4 body damage, so slightly less on the body damage. Deal 5 head damage, same on the head damage. However, he has this more powerful ability, which is enemy discards 3 cards. So I'm just going to have to basically take all my thoughts and just throw them in the garbage, because that's what your hand is. You get a hand of 4 that allows you to react to the programmed fighting that we have going on. And again, ranged and can't prevent any of the damage. So that's pretty brutal. I think it's worse than From Hell. The rooting is not that good, and then the damage is only slightly more. The 6 head damage is nice, the 5 body damage is nice, 2 points more of damage, but that discarding 3 cards is just real good. It basically equates to extra body damage. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and draw our 10 cards. Oh, hold on 1 second, the girlfriend's calling. Have to take that. Okay, there we go. Girlfriend has been talked to. We are all good. So now I can go ahead and draw 10 cards. The struggle is real? Did you?
I understand that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that outburst last time, like, randomly was like, my wife was taking a nap, and I, like, said, your friend's awake, and she's on League of Legends. Like, they're ready to play whenever you're ready.
Uh-huh.
And she didn't hear me, and then, like, magically she woke up, like, an hour later, like, oh my god, you never woke me up. I'm like, I said something. It's not my fault.
Yeah. Girlfriends must be given their due attention. Okay, so this is pretty epic. This is going to be a really tough turn for him on the first turn. Let's just put this out here because I think it needs to be done. So if we take a look at this, there's a recipe here. I'm going to need to do something here and something here in order to gain this this ability. So let's just throw out like I don't know. Let's throw out this crap right here. Let's throw that. There we go. That feels good. I'll move my stuff down a little bit. So this will be my first attack. We'll put that up there. And I need a second attack. Let's see, what do we got here? We've got this one. We've got this one as well. You know what? Let's just go all in. I want to show you guys all of the cool stuff that can be done with abilities. So we won't tell him which one's which. He'll probably figure it out though. Let's see, what ability do we want first? Oh, this will play in great. This is wonderful. Let's do this. This will be interesting. I don't know if this is going to exactly work, but we'll give this a shot right here. Now, it's sad that I'm wasting this with all this in my hand, but I think that it's better to just go ahead and show you how this is going to play out. Okay, so we get to actually peek at priority. I forgot about that. You get to look at the top card of your deck.
We keep forgetting.
Yep. Okay, that's good. I'll explain how priority is determined in a second. So let's go ahead and flip over our priority. So I have a 2. This card right here has a 2 priority. And you flip over yours? Alright, he's got a 2 as well. So we're going to flip over another one. I got a 4. He got a 4. No kidding. Let's flip over another one. Ooh, beat a 5. What? Are you gotta be kidding me, buddy? A 2. Oh my god, what is this? A 5. Hey, I finally win. But all 5 of those cards go to the bottom of my library. Oh, man. I finally won it. Okay. Here, wait. Do this. Do this. Hold on. There we go. Now you can do it. All right. So that was crazy. That was four matched priorities in a row. That's like 4 feints. Like we're both like, no, I'm gonna go. No, I'm gonna go. No, I'm gonna go. No, I'm gonna go. And nothing happened until then, which that's okay. All right. So let's go ahead and I will flip over since I am priority player. I flip over first, and I'm going to say, well, hey, look at that. I drew my X-ray on my first turn. That shuffle was real. I told you that I got it to the top of my deck. I'm a magic. I do prestidigitation digitally, apparently. Alright, so this is going to be the move that I'm going to perform. He's going to go ahead and flip over his moves now, since there's no like committing to this card. He has a front punch and a back punch, which is actually an ice burst. This is pretty great. This is probably one of the best moves that he could do right now because of what I have set up here. Oh, go ahead, put it back. I don't know why it does that.
Yeah, no, I was just they go off to the side anyway.
Oh yeah, that's fine. All right, so we'll just put that into his discard pile. So he's replaced his move with an ice burst. So first, mine's going to take priority. So first of all, gap closer doesn't matter. We're already in melee distance. Deal 5 body damage. So go ahead and mill 5 cards. And there's nothing that he can do to stop it. There's no prevention of damage. 3, good. 4, I like that. 5, nice. That's not bad. And then we're going to deal 6 head damage. So he's already going to be down to 9 health. There we go. And then I'm going to root the enemy. So what we do is we come over here, we grab this root token, and we put it here. He cannot change the distance until after this root token is done. So basically he can't change it here, and he can't change it here, but he can change it in the 3rd attack if he wants. So I've got him rooted, which means his body can't move. However, my body's more than available to be moved. So if we take a look at his Ice Burst, he's got deal 3 body damage and knockback if successful. He can choose if he wants to enhance it or not, which would give him a knock-up as well.
Oh, that's right.
Yep, you do gain 1 token at the beginning of your turn, so that is important. Would you like to enhance it, not knowing what I have in my hand?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, so he's not going to enhance it. He's going to deal 3 body damage and knock me back if successful. Let's look in my hand and see if I can do anything about that. Or if I want to. You know what? I'm not gonna. I'm going to take 3 body damage. So, 1, he got a back kick. 2, crouch. And 3, a block. So what happens is when you take body damage, you mill from your endurance deck, your fight deck here. And when you take head damage, your HP goes down. So there's 2 different paths to victory. If one's not working for you, you might want to switch it up. Or if when you switch it up and he starts blocking that, you might want to go back to the first one. Anyway, so he will knock me back. We're going to go into the ranged distance right now, which means that we have to reveal for priority for the next fight. I have a 4, and you have a 1. So this is going to be a little different. This has to, yep, this doesn't go into the discard pile. It goes on the bottom of the deck. Oops. There we go. So I have priority. Let me take a look at what I have here real quick. I think I'm just going to let this one go. We're in range right now, and I'm kind of okay with that. I'm going to keep my crouch front kick, which actually equates to a takedown. So it's a crouch regardless of priority. I actually don't want to get in close to him right now, in case his moves are melee, and then they'll miss, and he will have misplayed by knocking me back and then having a melee move here. However, I think he knows what he's doing by now, so let's go ahead. Wait, let me decide if I want to commit to this. Deal 6 body damage. It's not ranged. I'm not going to commit to this. Go ahead and flip yours over.
You know, you're saying this, I don't think I remember. Yeah, I was like, I don't think
Oh no! You didn't plan well! Well, okay, so here, because it's your turn, you can choose to put a run token on one of them in order to achieve a second one.
I can't.
Oh, you can't! Well, would you look at that?
See, I wasn't expecting the root.
You weren't expecting the root.
Run the crouch?
Run.
Just not get
Now, just so you know, this guy right here has to go in the head slot. If you look at the targeting, he has to go in the head slot. You put him in the body slot. So if you put him up there and the crouch down there, the crouch also has to go in the head slot, which means one of these cards was going to be useless to you. And I would say probably the crouch over the Frosthammer, because Frosthammer's just better.
So you can place things in the wrong slot and they just whiff?
They just whiff. They just don't do a damn thing. Correct. Okay, so there's that for you. We are both in ranged.
I may need to change. Okay. No, I
Okay. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and just say that, well, unfortunately, he was rooted, so he couldn't run at me. If he wanted to run at me and he didn't have the root token, this is what it would look like. He would choose one of his 2 cards, and he would say, you know what, I'm going to say, screw it on the crouch, I don't care to see the crouch, and it basically stops the crouch from flipping over, and run becomes his action. And then he would choose which order he wants to do. Does he want to Frosthammer me first while we're at range and then run at me? Or does he want to run at me first and then Frosthammer? And he probably would want to run at me first and then Frosthammer. However, my root kind of spoiled all of his plans, which is kind of great there. Okay,
I was
and
actually anticipating being at range and being able to like run through the crouch. Like I just didn't realize I'd be rooted.
yeah, and the root turned out to be perfect. So again, root isn't super powerful on the X-Ray. However, as you can see, it can perform some pretty sweet mitigation there. Okay, so now my move basically doesn't do jack shit. Your moves basically don't do jack shit. We kind of just like did nothing. So let's go ahead and reveal priority for the next round. I got a 2. You got a 1. Looks like, oops. Looks like I get to go first. Again. Okay, so we are at range. So that means that this move has to be a ranged move. If it's not, then I'm going to have to run at him. Or I could just say, fuck it, I don't want to do any of that, and just try to mitigate more damage by being at ranged. And you know what I'm going to do? Well, first of all, his root token goes away since he passed the turn that his root token was on. And we're going to go ahead and look at this. And I've got a jump back punch, which is kind of sweet here. This is a teleport. Now the problem with this, though, is that I had priority. And this says, counts as a jump if you don't have priority of this attack. I did have priority, so right now this is not going to jump anything. However, it is a gap closer. I do get to change the distance token and set it to melee. And if it's successful, I automatically get to stun his meter on the next turn, which means he won't be able to get to use his combat tokens. And I'm going to deal 3 head damage. And do I want to commit to this right now? Do I want to commit to a knockup? You know what? I'm going to get... Oh, you know what? I spent all 3 of these anyway on my X-Ray, so I technically can't commit to a knockup. So that's my move. You go ahead and flip yours over now.
I don't know if I screwed this up again.
Okay, we'll see.
Because I'm not used to the fact that Frosthammer is, no, okay, yeah. No matter what that is, I wanted to run that.
Alright, he wants to run...
It wasn't the hammer.
Right. So he's going to run at me probably... actually, you don't need to run at me, you know that, right?
Oh, that's right, you got close.
Because I'm going to be priority and I'm going to basically run at you without a run token. I'm gap closing. We're going to be setting this to melee in a second, so you can go ahead and flip those over if you want.
I don't want to flip the other hammer.
Oh no, it's in the wrong spot again. So this one's basically useless, and this one was basically useless. The targeting information's on the side. Make sure you pay attention to that in the future. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. My move is going to now trigger. Are you going to respond to it? It is a head attack for 3 damage, and it will stun your meter on your next attack, which is going to be the first one of your next turn.
I think I'm going to react.
Ooh, he's got a reaction in hand, and he is going to... crouch. Look at this. So he pulls off a from-hand crouch. So all of these right here... This is if you place it down on the field, you get these abilities. This exclamation point that says replace all of the abilities on this card with these instead if you play it from your hand. And he's going to prevent all head damage. So I completely miss him. That son of a bitch. I don't get to do anything to him.
this too?
It does. Now you can crouch. Play reversal. So reversal says play only after preventing damage with a block, crouch, or jump, which he did. He prevented 3 head damage. And then he's going to do, play a basic offense from your hand. You may choose to target either the head or body. Now what's nice here is this whole card is only a reaction card. It can be played down, but it just won't do anything. It's only really usable from your hand, and the condition is that it has to be played only after preventing damage with a block, crouch, or jump. Not any other move, just block, crouch, or jump. Okay, so what are you going to do? He's going to deal 4 damage. He's going to use a back kick to my head or body, sir.
I think I'm going to go to the head.
Okay, so I'm going to take 4 damage to the head. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4. So that was pretty damn good. So now that that round is over, we're going to return all of the abilities that we used back to... I used 3 abilities that round. That was super fun.
Did the Air Frost Hammer.
Oh, sorry, your Air Frost Hammer is going to wreck me. It deals 3 head damage. If successful, I discard 1 card. If successful, he draws a card. And it counts as a jump if you don't have priority of this attack. Well, he definitely does have priority, which is funny because that means you did not need to use your crouch at all. You could have kept your crouch in your hand and just used this as the jump. So why don't you take that crouch back into your hand since you know now?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you
No,
used...
because you teleported.
Yeah, but exactly.
You teleported and then I responded.
Right, but read your card. Counts as a jump if you don't have priority of this attack. So you were able to jump my teleport, essentially. And then, do you want to change... So we flip this to here. Do you want to change the token to ranged before your Air Frost Hammer hits?
No.
Okay, that would be dumb. Very good. So he's gonna deal 3 more head damage to me, and if successful, I discard a card, and if successful, he draws a card. So this card, the draw part, is more useful in the first and second slot. However, it was good to kind of just use this now. So 3 head damage. I'm going to take 3 more head damage. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to discard a card, and he's going to draw a card. Not that it super matters, but that's what's going to happen. I'm going to go ahead and discard a combo here. I'm done with that combo. Very good. Okay, so now your abilities can go back down to where they were. You're going to take all the cards that are in your hand. So I had this back kick, crouch, and front kick. Oh my god, wait a second. I could have crouched one of those. I'm going to say that I didn't. I just messed up. I didn't crouch it. Let's just put these away. I could have prevented some of that damage. I, for some reason, thought that I didn't have any way to avoid damage. But I could have prevented the 4 or the 3 damage there, which would have prevented a discard and a him drawing a card. That's really unfortunate. I messed that up. And then any cards that are on the field will go into your discard pile. And then you're going to put your discard pile into your hand. And we're going to look here. Oops. We're going to look here at our endurance. It says, after each round, choose 6 cards in your discard pile to shuffle back into your fight deck. Up to 3 of them can be specials, and up to 3 of them, and then you can choose up to 3 of the same card. So let's go ahead and take a look here. I definitely kind of want this one, so that's 1. We're going to look here. We really like these guys. That's 2. I think I'm going to go ahead and grab this. That's 3. We've said how important this one is before. So that's 4. Let's see. I need 5 and 6. I think this is pretty important there. And since I don't have another one of those, I think I'm going to go with this because it's part of this down here. I mean, as strong as this is, this one actually gets me something better. Gets me this right here. So, because of that, I've got my 6. And then these cards that are in my hand are going to go into a permanent discard pile. These guys are done forever. They're out of this deck. Gone. Permanent discard. What's nice is I got 4 cards of mine gone, and he got, looks like 10 cards of his gone. So I beat him in body damage, but he beat me in head damage pretty drastically here, or by 1 point of damage there. So, okay, I'm ready. I'm going to go ahead and flip mine over and show my opponent what I've chosen. I've chosen my X-Ray. I've chosen 2 crouches. I got a front kick, a back punch, and a jump. He's got back punch, jump, front kick, Air Frost Hammer, and Frost Hammer. That was a great pull for you. And then these guys right here are going to go back into my deck, bringing my deck total to 46 and his deck total to 40. So I've got him beat by 6 cards in the body, and he's got me beat by 1 point in the head. This is a pretty close match already. That was just the first round. Yeah, look at that. 10 cards in that discard pile. Then we're going to go ahead and at the beginning of our turn, we're going to gain a combat token. Go ahead and gain a combat token. Great. And we're going to draw 10 cards. Draw up to 10. There we go. I did shuffle this time, made sure of it. Let's see. So I got 2 of these bad boys. These are pretty interesting. We've got that. We've got that. Well, let's throw some defenses over here. Let's look at this stuff here. This is a pretty decent hand, I think. Let's see what this does right here. Ooh, this could be pretty fun here. Now, we are in melee distance, so this could be pretty important on how we're going to do this. So, ooh, that's pretty nice. I think that I'm going to go ahead and not care about this so much, because I don't want that to happen the whole time. So I think I'm going to go ahead and front load that right there. That should be pretty nice. And then let's see, what do we got here? We've got, let's get, since the ability on this card, if you see this one right here, that's kind of important to note, because I'm going to need to do, ooh. Ooh, this is tough. I think I might need to do this, guys. I think I might need to do that. I think that's the right order. And then after that, let's do this. This looks pretty fun. I think that's good. That's pretty decent there. And he's all set up. He's got his cards out here. So now this is the point where we say, do you want to discard a card from your hand, store it into your fatality? And I'm going to say, yes, I would like to store a front punch into my fatality, which will get me this right here. So let's go over that, what that means real quick. So you can see here, stop ahead requires 1 stance card, 2 back punches, and 2 front punches. Now, if I beat him, and I happen to have these cards stored on the side here, I will be able to perform my fatality, which means next fight that we fight, I'm going to go ahead and get this bonus to all my damage. I would do increase all body damage by 1. Now, if I stored this here, which is 3 back punches, 1 throw, and 1 stance card, then I would be performing +1 to all head damage next turn, next game, which would be really strong for the whole game. Now, that's only if I can manage to store all of these cards. You can store other cards that aren't associated with this to gain your combat token. Excuse me, but only 1 per round. So, oh, I didn't peek at priority again. Let me do that real quick. Okay, I'm okay with that. Let's,
I'm storing a back kick.
You're storing a back kick. Now, is that part of it? Yeah, he's got a back kick on Bed of Ice right here, which is pretty strong. He's got a back kick there. That would give him +1 head damage if he finishes that. Okay, so let's go ahead and reveal for priority. I got a big old 1. You got a 4. Okay. You, sir, have just 1 priority. So currently the score is 8 to 9. I'm at 8. He's at 9. He's going to flip over his cards first. He's got a Frosthammer in the proper spot this time, and he's got a block in the body. So would you like to commit an enhanced token to your Frosthammer?
No.
He's not going to commit that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and flip over. I've got Dead End in the head and body, which is going to deal 2 damage to the head, 2 damage to the body, and if successful, knock him back. Now, if I had priority, which would have been beautiful that time, I would have actually done my damage to him, knocked him back, and then I wouldn't have had to deal with any of this damage from Frosthammer. So, first of all, I have to respond to what you're doing. I don't really feel like taking head damage, so I'm going to go ahead and crouch that right there. So I'm going to prevent all head damage. So he does get to draw a card automatically because it says draw a card. There's no condition on it. But if successful, I would discard a card. Well, I'm not going to discard a card. Instead, I'll prevent the damage and not take any, not have to discard a card. It's equivalent to discarding a card, but I did a positive thing by preventing the damage at the same time. Okay, so now it's my turn to react. I've got 2 head damage and 2 body damage, and if successful, knock you back. Now the problem with this, what I didn't think about, because I definitely messed this up, is that if one of these hits, the other one won't. So I'm gonna do the head one Not that it really matters, because they're both basically the same. So Dead End is going to be 2 head damage. Are you going to take it?
Well, does my block still apply?
It can block body damage, any form of body damage from this move. So since I'm going to be dealing 2 body damage, and you have the block in the body slot, it will block 2 of the body slot damage. However, the 2 head damage is still something... There you go. He's just going to take the head damage, and then I'm going to get to knock him back to range, which is pretty good. Alright, so let's go ahead and check for priority on the next round. I got a 1 again. He got a 3. Looks like he's got priority yet again, which I think might be really good for me. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see what's going on. So let's see what he flips over here.
I don't remember.
You can look at him before you, and then decide to keep one face down.
I think I can run, because the jump portion of that only happens if I don't have priority, so I'm just going to run.
Correct. So what he's saying here is that we're at ranged right now, as you can see, and he has an Air Frost Hammer in the head slot, which would deal 3 damage to the head. If successful, I would discard a card. If successful, he would draw a card, and it counts as a jump if you don't have priority. But because he doesn't have priority, it doesn't count as a jump. So that means he has to waste whatever card was under here and turn it into a run instead. And the run allows him to, in whatever order he wants, flip this. He can either run at me first, or he can wait. Now I'm going to go ahead and flip mine. Mine counts as a teleport right here. So this is pretty sweet. I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm gonna enhance this bad boy. So he's gonna go first. He has to decide when he's gonna run, but he does have to run.
I'm gonna run first.
Okay, so he's gonna run and come at me. We're in melee now, and then he's gonna try to deal head frost damage. Air Frost Hammer head damage. Now what's lucky for me is that my teleport, yay, my teleport counts as a jump if I don't have priority of this attack, which I do. I do not. So that means I'm going to avoid his Air Frost Hammer, which is pretty nice. None of that shit is going to happen. Get the hell out of here. This is my town. And then I'm going to do... I'm going to gap close, and then if successful, stun the enemy's meter. So he has a chance to respond to this still, and deal 3 head damage, and if successful, I also knock up. So he has a chance here. Do you want to respond to this?
I'm not preventing anything.
He doesn't have a crouch, unfortunately, so he's going to take 3 head damage here. If successful, we're going to go ahead and stun the enemy's meter, so that means he can't use tokens, he can't use combat tokens until after the meter until after he's gotten through the stun, which lasts this turn and next turn. Okay, and then for me, I also enhanced it, so if successful, I get a knock-up, which means I can discard any number of cards from my hand, as long as they're basic offense cards, to deal some damage. I'm going to go ahead and do this and set it to your head. So I want to deal 3 head damage. It's a front kick for 3 damage. Are you going to respond to that one?
Wait. Okay, so if I have this, I can respond to the first one, right?
It's all together. This is all... Yeah. You actually have to take this damage too. This is all one move now.
Okay.
Enhance allows you to add an additional effect.
Okay, so just...
Right, so do you want to take...
As you can see, I have to take the damage.
It does say, must be dealt damage to use as a reaction. Deal 3 body damage and knock back if able. So we're going to go ahead and deal 3 body damage to him. I'm sorry, deal 3 head damage. I want this to target his head.
6 head total?
6 head total. Yep, he's at 1 life. 1 life. This has gone nice and fast here, folks. And then he's going to respond with deal 2 body damage, draw a card, and if successful, knock back. Oh no, wait, that's if you play it down. He's going to do must be dealt body damage to use as a reaction. So he was dealt damage, and he's going to deal 3 body damage to me, and if successful, knock me back. So 1,
and I'm also going to
2. You can't.
What?
You didn't prevent any damage.
Oh.
You did not use a block, crouch, or jump to prevent any damage. Yep. So that was very good. You got 3 cards out of me, and you actually get to draw a card. Oh, no, you don't get to draw a card, sorry. And you get to knock me back. That's what it is. Okay, so now we have to reveal for priority again. I got a 5. He got a 5. I got a 2. He got a 2. Hold on. There we go. He got a 5. I got a 3. He beats me in priority. So he's going to be able to do whatever he wants. We are at range right now. So he's going to get to flip first. He flips over a crouch and a front kick, which becomes a slide, which is perfect because we're at range. So he's going to put that right there. And he's got to choose if he wants to enhance it or not.
Meter's locked.
Your meter's full. Oh, yeah, your meter's locked. You can't. Sorry. Your meter's full, but I stunned his meter, so he actually can't perform the ability to enhance it. Not that he would want to anyway. Making me discard a third or 2 cards when I only have 1 card in my hand, not that big a deal. However, depends on the card that I have in my hand. So let's go ahead and flip mine over and see what I got here. We've got a back kick and a back kick. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do... Wait, let's see. This counts as a crouch if you don't have priority, but you did have priority. So I'm going to do this. This is going to be pretty interesting here. We're going to do this. So he's going to hit me with his crouch front kick right here, which is a slide. Counts as a crouch if you don't have priority, which he does, so it doesn't matter. Gap closer, so he's going to go ahead and switch this to melee distance. And if successful, knock me back, which it will be. I'm not going to block it. And he's going to deal 3 body damage to me. So 1, 2, you got a jump out of me, and a back kick. Pretty good, 3. So we are in ranged because it was successful. He ended up knocking me back. Now, if he had not been successful, it would have stayed at melee distance. So that's the punishment of slide messing up on you, is you go from range to melee, and if you aren't successful, it stays at melee, so you don't get to knock him back again. Okay, so now it's my turn. I'm actually going to go ahead and run at you, and I'm going to do a back kick to your face hole.
And that's game.
And that's game! I win the game! Now the problem is, that was 2 out of 3, but I did not get enough time to store my fatality, and I did not get enough time, or I did not use the proper move to end up beating him with a brutality move, basically a stance or an ability card. However, it doesn't matter because that was 2 out of 3 rounds. Nice quick game, sir. Thank you. That's going to be perfect for YouTube. I really appreciate that. You know, sometimes you got to lose fast.
Well, playing fast doesn't hurt either.
It doesn't. And yeah, you played way faster this time, and this was only the 2nd time he's played. So as you can tell, it's a very accessible game. He did make quite a few mistakes on his first turn, placing some of his Air Frost and Frost Hammers in the body slots, making them unusable technically. I also made a mistake on the first turn. I actually could have prevented 4 head damage or 3 head damage and some discarding. As you can see, it's a game of skill. It's a game of using what you've got to try to beat out your opponent, and trying to get inside your opponent's head to figure out what they're going to do on their move. Now, he wasn't planning on me rooting him, and it kind of messed up one of his turns. And I actually wasn't planning on him knocking me back on one of his turns with a throwing me away. But luckily I had a teleport there that was going to allow me to be able to do that. He actually knocked me back on this turn right here, and I had, as you can see here, I had a double attack here. Back kick in the head, back kick in the body slot. And I was worried that, oh man, I have to give up one of these cards now just to get back close to him so that this isn't wasted. So luckily I was able to win the game, but if he had had a crouch in his hand or a jump in his hand, he could have avoided this, and then we would have been going one more round. That was it. I was able to beat you out on that round. I had a throw in my hand just in case. What'd you add? You have a back punch, a reversal, and a throw. Yeah, throws are really fun to use, but you have to be aware of what your stances are and what they can do. Now this was definitely, I made a mistake here. I really should have put this in one of these slots over here instead of the back kick, but it's okay. It ended up working out in the end. As you can see, they both had knockback, which means if one triggers before the other one doesn't get the trigger. Dumb me. I was thinking I could front load it. But anyway, there are lots of little mistakes that you can make in the game, but once you know the game, very few mistakes can be made. Like I said, Element Fire, this is your 2nd time playing. He's only watched me talk about the designs, and then he jumped right into being able to play. So that was pretty good, man. The last game that we had actually was epic. It went a while. He stabilized it.
I have a habit of not dying.
You do. That last game, he didn't. It took me so long to kill him. He stabilized at like 3 life or 1 life or something crazy. And I thought that he might have had an answer in this one and been able to beat me up. one more round. But that's how the game goes. I won by head damage. As you can see, combos can be very strong. Knockups are very powerful. We both got to actually perform some knockups this round, which added to the speed of the game. So you have to commit to a knockup, and if you get it and you have the cards in your hand, it can be very powerful because each card that you discard to commit to a knockup or a combo has to be responded to with a different defense card, or a combo breaker, which is 2 of your combat tokens. I can definitely say I won this based on the fact that I started. I won with the brutality last game, using a stance or an ability card, getting all 3 of my tokens, and so much luck. Getting that X-ray on the first draw made it so that I won that game without a doubt. It was brutal. Actually, that's the second time in 4 days that that's happened to me, because I play tested it in physical form here at home with a buddy, and I won the first game and was able to get my tokens. And then my second game, I started with my X-ray, and I have been super, super lucky. X-rays are awesome. Do you have anything you want to say to anybody listening about this game?
You said that my first reaction was, "Hi, Mom."
Hi, Mom. That's acceptable. You can say that. I'll send her the video. Don't worry.
It's got like my actual opinions of the game so far is that the box and like the pre-built stuff has a very Magic dual deck feel to it, which I really enjoy being able to just pick up and play out of the box. Although I am definitely interested in digging a little deeper into that draft mode.
Well, that sounds great to me. I first of all, I appreciate the compliments, especially being compared to something as feel good as the dual decks from Magic the Gathering. Now that you mention it, I'll go ahead and talk over the differences between draft mode and this mode real quick. So first of all, we played with something called a quick start deck, which I'm going to go ahead and reset game real quick, and just kind of to be able to show the YouTube channel basically what was done. So we have a starting deck of 10 cards, which consists of 1 back kick, 2 front kicks, 3 back punches, and 4 front punches. So that's a 10-card deck right here. Notice it's got the little green up in the corner. That means starting card. By the way, this art is not final. This is all just me making crap art in order to make the publisher more interested in the game. And then what we did, though, is we started with the 40-card quick start deck, which is composed of 5 of each of the basic attacks, which is all the punches and kicks that I just told you. Then you get 4 crouches and 4 blocks, which are 2 of the defensive moves. And then you get 3 throws, 3 combos, and 3 jumps. And normally you draft more jumps than that, so the game takes a little bit longer because you have more defensive abilities. But it turns out to be pretty damn balanced if you do that. So what you do is you start out with your first your quick start deck. And it's a fight deck, and you pick a stance, and that's 10 cards as well. So those 10 cards will go on to... Oh, what the heck? I don't know why I can't change that. That's weird. Those 10 cards will go into your quick start deck, making 50-card deck. And that's why you start with only 15 life instead of the proposed 20 right here. The reason is quick start decks are meant to be for beginners. It's meant to be to get people introduced to the game. And it's so that you can actually do a pretty fast game. And as you can see, that was a pretty fast game. I mean, I was able to trounce him pretty easily, though, because of the X-ray that I pulled on the first one. Due to the last fight, they're not all that fast. I mean, you got to look at that. That's a free 5 body damage and 6 head damage. That's pretty big when you only have 15 life and 50 cards. And technically 40 cards because you draw 10 to start. But the other alternative mode, the professional mode, the more competitive mode, would be the drafting mode. So it's not really deck building like it. Like I can pick any number of cards, you can pick any number of cards and put them together and do whatever you want. It's more that you get to pick, first of all, you pick your stance cards, which I'll go ahead and show you how to draft one round real quick. Let's say I play the Cataclysm, the Ninjutsu, Scorpion's Ninjutsu stance. You take your starting deck and you take that right there, and that'll be a 20... Yeah, that's fine. You get 20 cards right there, and then you shuffle them up, and then you draw 5 cards. So it's 1, You make 4 piles of 5. So we'll do that right there, and then we'll do. Let's see. I want to take 4 cards, put them here. 4 cards, put them here, and 4 cards and put them here. So now we have 4 piles of 5, and this is how the drafting takes place. It's going to be 6 rounds of drafting. So it sounds like a lot, but once you really know the game and you know the value of these cards, it doesn't actually end up being that much. So, oh, did you just give me cards into my hand?
I may have accidentally.
Yeah.
Deal.
Yeah, you dealt instead. Where's that go? Which pile?
Second pile.
Second pile. There we go. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do, actually, you know what? Let's, so that we can face the same direction, I'm going to grab this and... Okay, that was weird. Let's do that. There we go. So I'll bring this up here. Alright, so I'm going to just do this real quick, just to show you. So you start out with front punch, front kick, back kick, and combo, and then you go down to block, reversal, crouch, throw, and jump. Now remember, we were using the priority number before, this number right here as a priority number, but this is actually the draft cost as well, and I'll show you how that's balanced. So what you do is you flip over this one right here. Sorry, I'm realizing they need to be in a certain direction. Yeah, just throw anything around. So I have to look at all of these, and just for ease of use, I'm actually going to go ahead and just draw them into my hand, and we're going to look at only your stance cards. So this is the only... Oh, sorry, I got 2 stance cards in that hand, which equates to a total of 3 purchasing power. So my training has been 3 on this one. So I'll take this right here. We're going to keep this face up. We'll select all this and just put this in here. Oh, good. That's what I wanted. Way to go.
We're also going to pretend I'm terrible at shuffling.
Yes, and you're just going to get all of the awesome shit. Okay, so first of all, I would go first. I say, okay, I got 3. And then up here, you can actually purchase up to 3 points of cards. I can get 1 front kick, 1 crouch, or I can get a back punch and a front punch, or a back punch and a block, or a reversal and a block, or a reversal and a front punch. Or I can get 3 front punches, or 3 blocks, or 2 and 1, and 2 and 1, etc., etc. So you can do any derivation of the 3 points to purchasing that you'd want. And what you do is, like, let's say I take a crouch, and I'm going to put that card over here. That's going to be my purchased pile for my fight deck. This is my training deck. Then he's going to go, and what do we got here? We got a ridiculous amount. You've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you can get some really big hands, but know that one of these piles is basically going to have nothing in it. So you got 8 points. So he would draft something like, a jump and maybe a back punch and a block, or maybe he gets a jump and a crouch, or a jump and a front kick, or he goes with 2 front kicks and a back punch, and he could basically choose whatever the heck he wants, equating to 8 points of cards. And then I would go and I would do mine. Now you do this through 6 times. It gets really fast. If we look here, I got 3 from my X-ray, I got 1 from my dead end, so that's 4, and then 2 from my cataclysm, that's 5. So I would like take a jump and I'd put that into my fight deck over here, and so now I'm 2 deep on my fight deck. And then the rest of these cards would just go here, and then he'd do his turn, and he would draft whatever he's going to draft, and then it'd be my turn, and I got in this hand, I'm getting pretty balanced draws here. I got 2, 4, 6. So I would probably take, like, 2 crouches or something like that, or maybe a jump and a block. And the whole time that you're drafting, the reason why you don't start out with drafting is because you don't know how good these cards are with your stance, with your specific stance. You don't know if you end up playing the unbreakable stance from Sub-Zero. You probably you have 10 stance cards that sorry 9 stance cards that will actually do a ridiculous amount of damage prevention with this specific stance. So you're probably going to build more offensive. In fact, this deck also does something cool. It does a you'd want to probably get, let's see, I think nope, never mind. Barrier of Ice is not what I'm thinking of. I was thinking of something else. So this one, you're going to probably want to buy more offensive cards, and maybe even some reversals, because you're going to end up blocking quite a bit of damage, and then you're going to be able to do, like, another block, and then a reversal, and some high damage things. And those are pretty great. Now, if he had gone with this, the Cryomancer, one of them counts as a knock-up, if I'm not mistaken. A Frost Hammer right here gives you a successful knockup. So first of all, this is mega damage. This is a super offensive stance with Air Frost Hammer and Frost Hammer. So knowing that, you would probably want to buy more defensive moves because you've got all of your offense moves here, and they're really good offense moves. On top of that, because you have a knockup here, you're going to want to buy a lot of these base damage cards because you're going to want to be able to use that knockup. Now, the nice thing is that no matter what stance you get, you always have these base moves here, these base abilities that come with your character. So I think that you can tell how to draft on your first playthrough if you kind of already know CCGs and stuff like that, just by looking here. I need, let's see, if I look at all my moves, I have 1 jump in all my moves, I have 3 back punches in all my moves, I have a crouch and a front kick. So that means that I'm going to really want to get jumps, crouches, front kicks, back punches, right? But mostly back punches. So the problem is that there are only 15 back punches. So if he sees me start drafting back punches and he wants to reduce how much I can actually perform my abilities down here, he's going to want to counter draft me and actually take some of the back punches because it's a finite pile. Also, maybe he sees that I'm going for, or actually, let's say it this way. Let's say I know that he's got his Frost Hammer, which deals 4 head damage, and his Air Frost Hammer, which deals 3 head damage. That means I'm going to want to get a lot of jumps and a lot of crouches, so I'm going to over-purchase as many crouches as I can. On top of that, since he's going a purely offensive style here on one of his stances, he's actually going to want to get a lot of defense as well, which means that he's going to be also probably purchasing a lot of crouches. And 1, because he needs defense, and 2, because it stops me from being able to get a bunch of crouches to counter his playstyle. So the drafting mode is really where the competitive aspect comes into play. And again, the reason why you don't start off drafting is because you don't know the value of the cards. You don't know if, okay, I've got 8 points, should I take a jump? Chances are, yes, probably. However, jumps are important. They have they haven't been updated here. I actually have to go update them before we play another time, but they have a special trait to them that they can only be played 1 from hand and 1 down on the field, and then your abilities, if they have jumps in them, they count as, you know, free jumps, separate jumps. So you can get up to a third.
The jumps in the quick start deck do have that original one.
They do, yes, yeah, but the draft cards don't. I have to remake the draft piles because some of the, yeah, the throws aren't updated and the jumps aren't updated. Those two need to be updated. But yeah, so basically what you need to know is that, you know, jumps are really good, but if you overload on jumps, then that means that you've drafted really high cost cards, which means you have less endurance. So if your character is prone to body damage, or if your character is prone to drawing a lot of cards and using a lot of cards via knockups and combos and stuff like that, then you want to draft a lot more lower cards so that you have more cards in your deck. What it equates to is 108 points of cards that you can draft. So if you do, you know, your 20 cards, if you do it 6 times, it's 108 points. So if we both get to draft exactly 108 points, but I draft 108 points of mostly high-end cards, and you draft 108 points of mostly low-end cards, you're going to have more cards in your fight deck than I am, which means your endurance is a hell of a lot higher. And I should be looking at that. I should be watching what you're drafting and going, I really need to hit him in the head. And you go, I'm drafting a lot of low-end cards. The highest I'm going to probably go is going to be Crouch. So I'm going to start getting a lot of ways to make sure that I don't get hit in the head. So there's a lot of counterplay and counter drafting in this drafting mechanic here, and you should only really do the drafting once you've played 2 or 3 times, depending on what kind of a gamer you are, how quickly you pick up a game, and obviously if you're getting to play with the designer of a game, it makes it really easy because he's going to teach you all of the stuff faster than just learning it by yourself. So Element Fire, I think the way that he's played, he could probably jump into drafting on the next time that we play the game. But for now, I think I'm going to go ahead and sign off and say thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys checking out this video. This was an extensive Mortal Kombat, the card game playthrough. We did a playthrough and a very large explanation of how the game is thought of competitively and how it can grow on you. Right now I only have Scorpion and Sub-Zero, but in the future I really want to be expanding out to, you know, Raiden and Noob Saibot and Smoke and Kano and Goro and Reptile. Like, I really want to get all those in there. Jax, and since this is Mortal Kombat 10 specifically, any characters that are in there are going to be the priority characters. Now again, that's only if the company that I'm attempting to pitch this to likes it. I'm not going to actually invest time to make the full Mortal Kombat game if I can't actually sell it to anybody, because you have to have a license to sell to somebody. That's just kind of how it works. So I might end up just switching this over to a completely other theme. It might be, might be a theme that I make up. It might be a theme that already kind of exists or that I'm familiar with. But unfortunately, I can't keep this Mortal Kombat if somebody doesn't want to buy the Mortal Kombat license and then buy this game from me. So that's unfortunately how it works. I hope you guys like it. If you have any comments, please leave them, because I would love to see what you guys think of this. If there can be some support on this, then actually, it might help in the selling of the game, and then I could get to work on creating all of the other hundreds, I feel like, of characters. And then because of the system, the way that it works, I could actually pull in, like, if a company had the license, I could pull in Street Fighter, I could pull in Tekken, I could pull in Battle Toads. I could do crazy things. I could pull in Mario. Obviously, they'd have to have the license, but it could be similar to a game that's already out there called Universal Fighting System, which is a really cool system, and you guys should definitely check that out. But it could be kind of in the same realm as that. But yeah, again, I talked more than I meant to. We're done. I will catch you guys later. Thanks for watching.